UI5 and Fiori training. In the last episode, we started creating our first OData project. We have created our OData project with one
My
entity,
house. Why
and
not
then
about third time?
we had gone ahead and we had created our service registration with the OData service into the service gateway maintenance transaction. And then we have seen response from the OData service, the basic response of service document and the metadata document. Many of you have contacted me, Anubhav. Would you like us to work on some real time project? Many of you have come to me. We would like to work with you on a real time project to get some experience. And I have replied back that if you can give me commitment, then only I am interested to work with you. You may show interest, but you may not give commitment. I only need people who can give commitment. I don't want you if you cannot give me commitment. I'll tell you a lot of examples here. Many people email me, Anubhav, I would like to do this, I would like to do that. The moment I approach them, they have some or the other problem. Either somebody is having headache, somebody is dropping his wife to the office, somebody is dropping his kids to the school, somebody's mother is ill, or something else is happening. Please try to understand. I cannot rely on you until unless you are predictable and you give me a commitment no matter what happens. On the same note, I do have a project to work upon. It's a complete cloud based solution, as you can see, which we are building right now. It's all on SAP Fiori. We have a login screen here. As soon as I log in into this, I can now register an inquiry for a student, and I can say demo.sap@gmail.com. I can choose the course a student has inquired upon. I can choose the name of the student. I can choose the country, choose the phone number, subject, and I can save the record. You can see this record gets created immediately at bottom. Where is this record saving? This record gets saved into something called a MongoDB. It's a productive database into the cloud. It is the place in the cloud where my data is getting stored. So here is where all the data gets stored in my productive database in the cloud the moment I create a record. Now you can also create a customer from the inquiry which we have got. So this is something which is built by my students, and we are currently working on with two students, two of my ex-students are working on this project. It's all real time happening here. So now the moment I enter the inquiry, it allows me, it populates all the data and allows me to create a new student subscription. So I created a student now, and I can move to the subscription, which course a student has bought. Can go in here, do an F4 help, select which course he is part of, what is the mode of the training, what is the training start date, end date, everything I can enter. Click on save button. The subscription gets created. You can go to manage subscription and manage all the subscriptions over there. I can create the batch details. I can create all the server subscription details, people who are buying server, their subscription information, everything can be kept a record. We are also planning a lot of new features like a dashboard, end user dashboard, a backup system, also planning a couple of screens about different other information. There's a lot of work here in this real-time project, and the backend for this project is Node.js. Middleware is the Node.js. To do this project, you don't need to know Node.js actually. Okay. And what is your cloud security? In the cloud security, we have IP whitelisting. So nobody can come and put data in our database. Only the requests which comes from certain IP addresses are allowed to create records in the database or read records. We also have on the name of security, the logon page. So suppose if you just refresh on this screen and try to create a record again, It will not allow you because now the user logon is gone. Okay, user logon is gone. You see page expired, please log in again, and it takes you back to the login screen automatically. So that's the security we have. Nobody can even track, not even anyone can track my post request, get request, and they cannot fire these get request or post request directly from here. So just for example, I'll just show you. I would probably go and try to do some get operations. I go to the network tab, and now you see there is an inquiries get operation which is being done on OData. Double click, you will see that it gives an authorization error. So every time user logs in, user has been given a logon ticket, and only that logon ticket, when it is presented to the OData service, the OData service would respond. Otherwise, it won't. And this is all built by Node.js, Express, loopback framework, the middleware part I'm talking. There's no ABAP here. Complete DB is into the cloud as a database as a service. And then front end is built using SAP UI5. What expertise do you need to work on this project is nothing. Only UI5 Fiori, which you already learned, that much is required, but commitment is required. Commitment is required, hard work is required to do anything in this world. If you can give that commitment and hard work, you are welcome for me. If you cannot, you have some or the other life problem, I don't want you because you're already struggling with your life. I don't want you. People who can showcase extreme level of commitment and hard work are most welcome to work with Anubhav. Otherwise, enjoy your life. I don't need you. So that's about the real-time project which you were asking. Many of you have emailed me in the past. Now let's see how many of you turn up and would ready to give that commitment. At least minimum 12 hours to 14 hours in a week I would need. Minimum. If that much you can give, learning is enormous. Learning is enormous in this project. If that commitment you can give, learning is enormous. Okay, you don't need to learn Node.js to do this because we have built the OData services using Node.js, and this OData is ready, and you just have to consume this OData, get, put, post, delete on the OData service, which we will be also learning in upcoming days via the code. Okay, let's move on. Okay, just close this up. Coming back, let's go ahead and create our operation. By far what we have seen, creating just a simple project into the system. And then we had also, you can see here we have created a simple entity type, an entity set, product set, entity set. And then we created runtime artifacts. We saw the purpose of why MPC and DPC, including the extension classes. And now we'll go to main service. And now let's filter that service up. And let's call the browser.
Yeah, Anubhav, I have one question.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I saw that one more additional service, that is MDL. What is that MDL?
Okay, that one.
If you
I
see,
understood. Let
yeah,
me just go back.
yeah, you clarify me MCA
This one.
and yeah, PDC.
So
Yeah,
technical model,
correct.
what is it? It is actually to an orchestrator. What this orchestrator does, this orchestrator is nothing but, if you remember yesterday's class, we discussed about there is something called metadata. Somebody was asking that, Anubhav, I created my SEGW, my service in the backend system. But how come this service automatically becomes enabled in front end system while I'm going for registration? How? So this MDL is doing that magic. The moment you create a OData service in the backend system, this MDL gets replicated on the front end system. And this MDL allows you to access the OData SRV service information, because that's nothing but your technical model name. So this technical model name and this external service name, these two things gets replicated, which giving the information to the front end system of what exactly the service is all about. So MDL is that model name, and external service name is this service name, and both gets replicated. That's why I say it's redundant. So same information is here and same is here when you use gateway hub architecture. Application information is redundant. That's why this type of architecture is now no much used, or not recommended to use, because you have high cost and replication of same data at two places. Okay, now coming back. So let's come back, just come back. And now here we are going to just say call browser, and we got our entity set, and we've got our service document. Now as usual, I'm just going to go back, and I'm going to fire a product set entity set call, and gives me an error, of course, because I have not done any implementation of the method to provide the data out, because there's nothing in the DPC class right now, DPC extension class, for me to serve the request. So there is a request which has come by browser. This is a request which we are sending to our gateway system. This is your SAP gateway where you have made the service available. And now this gateway is not, it's unable to send you the right response. Rather, what it does, gateway goes, it hits your DPC extension class. It checks, hey, what is the code for product set? Now DPC extension say, hey, I don't have a code right now, nobody has implemented me. That gives you to the exception to the gateway system, and this exception is then transformed to a response, and that is the response you get, that this method is not implemented. Yeah, so that's how the request response works. It's always request response, request response, request response. Anything you type in the browser, it's a request to the gateway, and the gateway then checks whether relevant method is implemented and responded back. So let's go ahead and implement this method. So I'm going to come back, and let's switch to the runtime artifact, which is your DPC extension here, data provider class. I'm going to go inside, copy the class name. You can double click also here to navigate to the DPC extension class. There you go. This is your DPC extension. Just scroll till the bottom. You would find 5 methods for every entity. Right now we have only one entity, which is product set, and for that you have 5 methods. Okay, these 5 methods are there: get, getting a single record, multiple record; update, delete, and create. So create, update, delete, and get. We have total 5 methods. Get is of two type, getting one single record with get entity, which is to get a single record based on primary key, and get entity set to get multiple records. Whether you apply filter, top, skip, all that is get entity set. So that all goes in get entity set. So there are two get methods. Then we have post, delete, update, total. All the CRUD methods are supported with these 5 methods. Okay, CRUD: create, read, update, and delete. So let's come down, and you can see it's get entity set, which we have to enable to reply back the data, response back the data. So let's use this method. Now you see all these methods are in the blue color. Why do you think they are in the blue color? In object oriented ABAP, whenever you see a class, you would see methods in the blue color because they are coming from parent class. If you go to properties, watch out. If you remember, yesterday I discussed the DPC extension and MPC extension has parent class as DPC and MPC. So you see you have a DPC class, go in the DPC class, go to methods, and now just scroll down, and now you can see we have these methods here in the parent class. So how it's in the parent class? Because this is SAP generated. The moment you activated your OData, the moment you generated your OData, system also gave you these templates, these methods ready to use. In this method now you fill in your code. So that's the beauty of gateway. You don't have to write the methods and declare them and all that. It's all ready to use. Just have to go and fill them, write your code to support different operations. So now we'll start with the get entity set. Since I'm in the child class and it's an inherited method, I cannot simply double click and implement. Let's double click, takes you to the parent class implementation, which is done by SAP. Generated code, what it does. This generated code is throwing an exception. Watch out. It's throwing an exception saying the method not yet implemented. That's an exception. That's why on the UI you have got a reply method not implemented. See why you got this reply? Something is happening behind the scenes. Some code is running which is getting you this reply, right? So the code is this one, which is SAP generated in every method. SAP automatically generate this code, which sends an exception back saying that method is not implemented. So let's come back. And now we're going to redefine this method. So select this method and now just click on edit first of all to edit the class, select the method and now say redefine. There is this button called redefine method. If you have seen my Oops ABAP tutorials, which I have posted complimentary in the blog, you would have an idea what exactly it's all about. So let's get in inside. And now you can see we can write some code down over here. I can write down a lot of code. And let me just right now send one empty record out. So watch out, look at the ready-made parameters here. There are a lot of input output parameters for this function, for this method. You have a lot of input output parameters. Naming convention, how it works: IV, input variable, input variable, IV. IT, any guess, anybody what IT stands for? Input, anyone? IT, what do you think IT stands for? Income tax? No. Not income tax. What is IT stands for? Anyone? Internal table, input table. IT stands for input table. What is IS stands for? Input structure. Yeah. Similarly, if you see IO, input object, then you have ET, export table. So which means it's exporting now this table data out of the method, which will become the response for us, which will become a response. So we got to insert anything which we want to respond back in this exporting table. Watch out, yesterday we saw the type which system creates automatically for your entity. So you created 6 properties in your entity type. Those 6 properties are part of it. Yeah, those 6 properties are part of it. This structure which has been created. So we're going to use this ET entity set, and I'm just going to insert and write now empty line, append initial line to ET entity set, and that's it. I'm just doing the simple demo code to just check how does it behave. And now guys, we have filled in the table which is going out. We are filling the exporting table which is going out. As a result of that, what should you see when I press enter again and make a request? What should you see? Anyone? What should you see when I make a request once again from the client? What should you see? Should see an empty record. One record should come. Voila, you see there is one record now coming out. There is an empty record which is being fetched out. It has got 6 properties: 1 2 3 4 5 6 properties. Whatever you had, they are now visible. 7 indeed, those properties are visible, and that's an empty record. But that's not our purpose. That's a bug because we have written a wrong code. Ideally, what should you do now? Should call the BAPI, get all the data from the system, from the database, and map that data to this ET entity. Remember, ET entity is of type TT product, which we saw. It only has 7 properties. So let's declare a work area, ls entity, like line of ET entity. And I'm going to also create a product, LT products, type table of BAPI EPM product header. That's the structure which BAPI returns me, because BAPI is giving me multiple fields. Okay, BAPI is giving us multiple fields. We will be using only few fields, so we got to map those fields from our LT product which BAPI gives me to the ET entity set which we are sending back. So let's come here, and I'm just going to go pattern and call the BAPI product get list. So I'm saying, hey, can you please get me all the products which are there in the system? And now you see it returns me a tables, and that tables I will receive the data here. header data LT products. So I've got all the data in LT product over here. Now I'm going to loop at LT product into data LS product. Now many of you are confused here. Anubhav, what is this? Into data this. This is a new ABAP syntax called inline data declaration, where you don't have to declare this LS product on the top. Rather, it can be done inline. It's an inline data declaration. Those there are lots of other syntaxes like uh, into reference of, yeah, lots of other new syntax which SAP have introduced with NetWeaver 7.4 and 7.5. To learn all of this, you need to subscribe to my ABAP on HANA training. Okay, that's an amazing training. It will give you an end-to-end perspective of new ABAP syntax, new performance tools, other tools related to ABAP which was introduced for performance and code inspection. Then we have tools to identify HANA migration related issues. We have tools to identify S4 HANA migration related stuff. What has become obsolete, what has been simplified by SAP in S4 HANA, what will work, what will not work, including CDS views, AMDPs, ADBC, view proxies, HANA, everything is covered in that course, including at the end we will build a dashboard, a Fury dashboard application using CDS views. Yeah. Also BOPF CDS integration. So a lot of topics are there in ABAP on HANA training, including new ABAP syntax and new SQL syntax as well. So, but old syntax is still valid. Don't worry. I'm just using new syntax because I'm more used to now new syntax, and it gives me a convenience to avoid declaration on the top. Now, once this is done, we're gonna move the data from LS product. Why? Because LS product, the BAPI gives me, let's say, 50 fields. But my OData has only 6 fields, which we created yesterday. Hence, we have to move the data. And now we have to just append this ls entity to et entity set. That's it. And now watch out, guys. As a result of this, you're gonna see the output with all the products coming out of this product set method. Let's come back to the browser and press enter. Watch out, watch out. You're gonna get wow, 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 wow. You got all the products out finally with the product ID and the product information. I want to see this data in the JSON format. Please show me in the JSON, please. What do you do? Question mark dollar format equals to JSON. That's an inbuilt functionality of gateway. Nothing extra you need to do. It automatically converts it to a JSON data. And you remember, this is the data which we would always need it. This is your entity set name. You would always need this kind of data to do binding. Binding is very easy. It's absolutely same like JSON model with OData model also. Yeah. So that's my product data. Now you can see it's popping up over here. All the products are coming. Let's check it out. How many products are there in the system? So slash dollar count. There are 125 products, guys. Now, guys, if I try to load all 125 products, like I told you the example, where if you have billion products, if you try to load, it will never work. If you try to load all billion products in one shot, it will never work. So what do we do to avoid loading all data in one shot? Paging, perfect answer. We use paging, and Uday has also been very precise. It's dollar top and dollar skip is what we use. Perfect answer, everyone. So we put here dollar ampersand dollar top equals to 1. Do you think, guys, it will work? If I put dollar top equals to 1, will it filter the one record and give me yes or no? Why no? Many people saying no. Why no? Why it won't work when I press dollar top equals to 1? Why it won't filter? I still did not get my answer. Yes, logic needs to be written, but what is the correct answer? What is the answer I like? What do you think I like? What is my answer here for this question? You're right, the code is not there. Perfect answer, Pawan. Understood. There is nothing like magic. So there is no magic happening, guys, here. It has to be done by you. You are batsman. You have to score the runs to win the game. Nobody else is going to come and score the run. So you got to write that. You got to write the code for supporting dollar top. So let's come back and check. First of all, press enter and see if it is really worth it. No, it not. You see, it's giving multiple records still. It is not worth it. It's not working. Yeah. It does not filter for you. Nothing like magic. Okay. It does not filter for us, which means we have to write some code in the backend to achieve this. How to find out where is this value dollar top coming to me? Because until I know what user is passing from the UI, from the front end, I can't support in the back end, right? I should know where is this value dollar top. If user pass, let's say 3, I should know somehow that the 3 is coming to me as a dollar top. So I can filter only 3 records. And that's something you can again go and check the signature, the parameter. And which parameter do you think, guys, most relevant for dollar top and dollar skip? Which parameter out of these input parameters, which you see IV, which parameter do you think would be most relevant? And Uday has already got the answer. It's IS paging, which makes more sense, which is related to paging. However, no worries. If you have no clue, don't worry. We will debug and find out. Okay. You don't have to do this much also. You can debug and find out. So come to the call function, the first statement of my method, and click on this external breakpoint button. You see this is user breakpoint. It's also known as external breakpoint. So click on this button. It will set up a breakpoint for us. Okay. Always set the user breakpoint or external breakpoint. You see the breakpoint is set. And now make a request again. What do you think should happen now? If I make a request with dollar top equal to 3, what do you think will happen? Press enter. What do you think will happen? It will hit the breakpoint. Yes, indeed. You can debug the code. You can debug. So now let's come to debugger. And there you go. It's my ABAP debugger. It is stopped in the debugger, the same line. And now you can see here the multiple calls which are going. Yeah. Let's go to the previous call. Just previous call, guys. Just go to the previous call. And now you see product set get entity set here. It's being called. And you see all the input parameters which are passed to the method. Yeah. So this is a standard call by gateway, generated code by SAP. You don't have to worry, but you can use this stack trace to find out, go to previous call, which is calling your method, and see what parameters we are passing. What parameters indeed gateway is passing to your method. So now you see one of the parameter which I was doubting, it could be this one. Let's double click. What was the value of dollar top we passed? Anyone? What was the value of dollar top? 3, na? Let's double click. Boom, there you go. You can see the value of dollar top is coming in this IS paging parameter. Is a structure IS input structure. It has two values, two properties, and here you see your dollar top value. Are you guys clear? How do you retrieve what user is passing? So now I can go back and I can use the paging parameter, and based on that I can filter the record. So you see, guys, BAPI is also giving a feature called max row. It's asking you, hey, how many rows you want, I can give you. BAPI is supporting you on that. If you don't have a BAPI, you can always write a select query, select star up to rows, right? This one you can write up to, let's say, 10 rows. Yeah, something of this sort you can write in ABAP to filter the data from the table whichever you have, Mara or whatsoever. So this code you can write yourself if you don't have a BAPI. But if you have a BAPI, no problem, you can call it. And BAPI is supporting max rows already. So I'll say, hey BAPI, fine, no problem. You are giving me help. Thank you so much for your help. I'm gonna take your help. So I'm gonna pass this row parameter in here. But let me see what is the signature. What is the input type? The max rows input type is again a structure. BAPI EPM max row. So I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna create this ls row. I'm going to pass ls row hyphen bapi max row equals to is paging hyphen top. Okay, that's what we are passing, the dollar top now, the top thing now inside this bapi max row, and I'm going to activate this up. So pass the lallan top to bapi max row. Okay, and this lallan top finally goes to the bapi, and then bapi does its processing and the final results comes out. Let's check it out. Come back here and watch out, guys. Now same call earlier, same call was returning me multiple records. You see, multiple records were coming. Now what do you think? Since we implemented code, what should ideally happen? Anyone? What should ideally happen when I implemented this paging? It should just return me 3 records. Press enter and let's check it out. 1, 2, and 3. Voila! Wow, that's it, guys. Dollar top is successfully implemented. There is nothing like magic. इस statement को मत भूल जाना, बहुत तकलीफ हो जाएगा. You try to think or depend on system won't help you. You got to go and code everything. You are a ABAPer to support everything of this sort on your own. This is what you got to support. Dollar top equals to 3. We pass it to the backend. In the backend, we read, hey, what did you pass me? What is the value? Accordingly, I've done my processing. And finally, I'm saying filling my internal table to return back. And that response comes back to you finally on the UI. Okay, that's the processing. Request, response, request, response. Every action has a reaction. Every action has a reaction, and it depends on what you have written inside. उसमें क्या लिखा है उस पर depend करता है. Okay, now what about skip? Now you see current product is HT1000, and I want to skip this first product HT1000, directly start with HT1001, 2, and 3. So I will add on ampersand dollar top. I'll add a tadka of dollar skip also. And I'll say, hey, can you please skip one record? Do you think, guys, this skip will work or not? Do you think if I try to skip first record and load the next 3 records, will it work? Why? Why it won't work? Why the skip won't work? Why it didn't skip my HT1000? Still it's giving HT1000 because there is nothing like magic. Perfect answer. And now let's come back. The skip parameter we have not handled yet. So now I've got to support that. So I'm going to come back here and say is paging. Total records which you should read is dollar top and dollar skip ka total. You have to read total number of record from Bapi is both skip and top total. You got to read. And now what you got to do is just come to here and now let's write the coda. So now you got to check if my paging is not empty. If somebody user has passed a skip parameter to me, skip is not initial, which means user has indeed passed something to me. And I'm going to create a new variable lv skip equals to my skip variable plus 1, and I'm going to say lv total number of records, which is equivalent to this Bapi max row. This is again inline data declaration in ABAP. I don't have to declare variables separately. And now what I'll do is I will change my loop. I'll say my loop at internal table lt product into data ls product, and I'm gonna just do the same stuff which we were doing earlier, move it and move. So now I have handled the dollar skip as well. If the skip is happening, then this code is running fine. Else my all wala code is running fine. This is my code which runs fine. This one run fine. And now let's just remove this part here. Save this. We are done. Let's activate this up, and now we're gonna test it. So I have supported this, but right now it is still not supported. You see the loop is as it is. We have to change the loop a little bit. So from what index? LV skip to LV total. So I'm saying, hey, loop, when you are looping through, please loop through from skip record to total record. Yeah, that's a support for skip we have added over here. And now let's activate and watch out. It's going to skip those many records. And this is all your ABAP skill which comes into picture here. If you are an ABAPer, you can easily do these things. This is a very basic ABAP. Indeed, it's not at all a good quality ABAP. This is a very basic core ABAP, basic internal table concept. Anybody can write it actually. Very easy one. Okay, coming back and let's try it now. So earlier the first product was HT1000 and now I press enter. And voila, you see HT1000 has been skipped out and you've got HT1001 as your first product and total 3 products you have received. By skipping the first product, which was 1000, has been completely skipped out. So 1001, 1002 and 1003 is coming up. HT1000 was completely skipped out because we have put $skip is 1. And let me put $skip is 3. I want to skip 1001, 2 and 0, 1000, 1 and 2. All three are skipped and it starts with 3, 7 and 10, whatever it has inside. It has got you next 3 products by skipping first 3 products. And let's test the normal one where I just want $top equals to 2. Is that works? So always keep checking that way that your existing functionality should not hamper with your new functionality. Yeah. So that is also working fine. Let's check also get all if that is working fine. Yes, that also works fine. It's getting all. So always make sure. So this if condition is safeguarding you. If you wouldn't have put this if condition, then it would have returned same result in all cases. Yeah. So this if condition is safeguarding you. Coming back, so that's about $top and skip, how to implement that. Now what about $filter? You remember we discussed about filter and I told you there is nothing like magic. So now suppose guys, if I come here and I say I want to only get the products which are probably flat screen monitors. So where product category is flat screen monitors, please get me only those products where flat screen monitor is the category. Anyone? Which OData symbol do you use for the same? Which OData symbol? I taught you that in the last class how to restrict the number of records based on a criteria. Which one you will use? Which OData symbol you use to now truncate? Yes, perfect answer. We use filter, $filter operation. Srinivas has got it right. So go on the top, press ampersand, $filter equals to category. Please get me products where category is equals to flat screen monitors. This is what we had also learned in the past. Those who don't remember, let me recall that. So I go back to the last PPT and I showed you here how to filter the data. You can see $filter category equals to PCs. We were doing that. It's like a where clause, right? Can you see that? So today we are doing at the batsman side, the batting, and we are actually going to write this piece of code inside. Yeah, we are actually filtering the records. So now, do you think currently it will work the $filter? Of course not, because there's nothing like magic. And you see, it has got you still the notebooks. Though you are telling continuously, hey, please get me only the flat screen monitors. Please don't get me notebook. It has got you the notebook, which is not expected. So what do? We have to now apply the filter. We have to go and implement filter functionality in the system. How do you do that? First of all, we should know what filter user is passing. Yeah, without which we can't do anything. So one question to all the ABAPers in the room. What is the structure of select option in ABAP? Anyone? What is the structure of select option? Yes, range. I'm asking for range. What is the structure of that? Perfect answer. Sign option low and high. or we can say high and low. Yeah, that's the structure for a select option behind the scene in ABAP system. How do I remember this? I remember this with my childhood poem. Head, shoulder, knees and toe. Head, shoulder, knees and toe. Head, shoulder, knees and toe. Sign option high and low. Head, shoulder, knees and toe. Sign option high and low. Head, shoulder, knees and toe. Sign option high and low. Next time you're sitting with your kid and teaching the poem, you are also remembering the select option structure. This is Fundafox, guys. This is how I teach. This is the Fundafox. This is how I remember things. Connect your things in life with the technical knowledge. You will enjoy your learning. You will enjoy your learning. Head, shoulder, knees and toes. Signed option high and low. This is how I remember. This is how I remember things up. I never forget these things because they becomes rhyme. When you rhyme things up, when you start rhyme technical knowledge, you will never forget it. Try to connect. I never forget people's name. If I talk to somebody, I talk to them, I ask their name, I never forget. If you want to impress someone, try to remember their name. About a week ago, I met a guy named Rahul. Naam to suna hi hoga. In the gym, and this guy was gymming pretty well. And I spoke to him, "Hey Rahul, how are you?" I asked his name. He said, "My name is Rahul." And then what happened is, I went yesterday, day before yesterday, to gym, and I met him again. I told him my name, and he told me his name. And now I say, "Hey Rahul," and now he don't know my name. Then he say, "Hey man, sorry I missed your name." And then I told my name again to him. Now that guy is so impressed that I remember his name, that he is now not going to forget my name. And every day I go, he say hi to me, because now he think, because I remember his name. That's a big thing for him. If you want to impress people whom you met first time, next impression should be you should remember the name. What is the trick? When somebody tell you the name of a person, try to connect that person's face with the face of a person with the same name you already know. Just an example, if I met a guy called Vivek, yeah, Vivek is one of my best friend. He's my school friend. So now I remember Vivek. Vivek is one name in my life which I never forget because he's my school friend. Next time in my life, ever I meet a person named Vivek, I connect. I kind of do mapping in my mind that okay, he's that Vivek. Next time, guys, when I meet that guy, another guy, I can reconnect it pretty easily. Okay, he's Vivek. I related him, I mapped him in my mind dictionary with that person, with my school friend Vivek. My school friend name is Vivek, and that's why his name is also Vivek. That's how you can remember a small trick. It works. You can try it out. Try to map the names in your mind with the people you already know with the same name. That is the trick to remember. Similarly, technical concept, if you try to remember, try to map them. Try to map them with your childhood concept, with your simple concept of normal life, and that's when you will never ever forget. Very unconventional style, but it works. This is how it remembers. Now coming back, so it's not working currently, not filtering all the products based on flat screen monitors, and now I want to do that. How can we achieve? First of all, we need to find where is this category coming. So this comes as a select option to you in the backend. Yes, it comes as a select option. Where can you see that? And also just try to look at here. BAPI also expecting you to pass the product ID, supplier name and category. BAPI supporting filters for you already. Cell means selection. So BAPI asks you, hey, can you pass me these selection categories? I can filter for you. I already have select query inside written for myself to filter the data. If you pass me the category, I will filter for you. So you got to now first read where is this filter coming to you, and then you have to map that to these categories. So let's go and check it out. So I'm going to come back, press enter again, above debugger. And now let's go to the previous method call. It hits the debugger as usual. What do you think out of these parameters? Which parameter should fulfill your need for the filter? What do you think? Which parameter would fulfill your need? Anyone? Any guess? Any guess? Anyone? IT filter, importing table filters. अच्छा, चलो देखते हैं. Let's double click and go inside. Voila. Wow. You can see the category is coming over here. Yes, category is coming over here, and inside the category you're getting I, sign, option, high and low, sign, option, high and low, head, shoulder, knees and toes, head, shoulder, knees and toes. There you go. I equals to flat screen monitor. This is what we exactly passed from the UI. We have found, and it's a nested structure. Watch out, it's not a simple structure, it's a nested one. Double click, go inside, you see first a property in select option. Inside select option you will find your table for select option. It's not a direct mapping, so it's a nested table. First you have a category, then you have a nested table inside, which is containing the sign option high and low value for filtering. So you got to accordingly design it. So we have got in IT filter select option, we have that value, no problem. So I'm going to come back to my code, and now I'll also see what is the format BAPI accepts from me, because they both have to be compatible, otherwise it won't help, right? They have to be compatible. So now I go to tables and I check what is the parameter the BAPI select option for category is supporting, and it's directly supporting a table of sign option high and low, which is nothing but your select option structure in a app. And I can take this range structure and create a table in my code. So that's what BAPI accepts. So let's come on the top and say, hey, what is my BAPI LT filter for category type table of this, and ls filter category for BAPI. This is all for BAPI we are creating. Type this structure. Guys, I'll tell you one trick. You should format your code like this. It looks neat and clean. कोड कोई भी लिख सकता है, अच्छा कोड हर कोई नहीं ले सकता. Anybody can become a coder, but out of 1,000 coders, there are only 100 developers. There is a difference between coder. Pretty printer won't do this. This type of formatting pretty printer won't do. Try it out. नहीं करेगा. नहीं करेगा. Try it out. It won't. Oh, it does. Okay, cool. It is doing indeed. Yeah, it works. So earlier I used to see it doesn't used to work, but now I think it's working. So that's cool. You can always do pretty printer and it will format your code. Anybody can write code. Anybody can become coder, but developer is only few. Try to be a developer, not a coder. You have to beautify your code as much as possible, so that system, the person who look at your code doesn't yuck on your code. Very important. Now coming back, let's map the categories here. And this is LT fill category, but this should be filled yet. Filter has to be filled with your filters. So loop at or retable filter for category. So retable IT filter select option into ls filter with key name equals to category. If user has passed a category filter, I'm interested. What I'm going to do is I'm going to loop at select options. This is the select option which we got from the URL from the user, and I'm going to say move corresponding this to filter category, and let's append ls filter category to lt filter category. Let's pass it on. I'm going to save this up. I'm going to check it out. Oops, something is wrong here. It's not name, it's property. That's what is it. It's correct one. Property is the correct one. Let's activate this up, and now my code is running, up and running. Wow, superb. So now guys, we will receive something called filter. We are mapping this filter from the what we have received based on category, looping over the same, and transferring the data from filter select option to filter category, filling the filter category and passing that to the BAPI finally to filter the data up. That's what we are doing. Let us come back and refresh the page. So I'm going to come back and refresh the page, press enter, and voila, there you go. You can see it's filtering all the products. Only filters, only products which has flat screen monitors are popping up now on your UI. Earlier it was getting miscellaneous PCs, palm tops, laptops, notebooks, everything it is getting, and now you see it's only getting the flat screen monitors. That's how you support filtering, guys. I hope it's clear how to support filter for a particular data. Yeah, similarly for different variety of filters which you would like to support, you have to write equivalent code in ABAP. There is nothing like magic. Everything or anything which you wish to do has to be supported from the backend. From the backend you have to support that, otherwise it will not help. Okay, let's also see how to get single record. So now you see there's a link also it's showing, which includes parenthesis the product ID. Yeah, parenthesis product ID, and I can now select this, and you see currently it's giving me an error again, because to return the single record data there is a different method altogether. It's called product get entity to return a single record, get entity set to return multiple records, and get entity to return single record. Okay, so now we have to implement that as also to support the getting of single record. So here is the method in the DPC extension class. I'm gonna go inside, and now guys, whenever user does a get entity, user will always pass you the key. See on the top, user will always pass you the primary key of the record, because it's you're querying based on primary key, then only you can return single record, right? So user always will pass the primary key of the record. So you have to read that record here, and based on that you have to write your coda and return one record. Look at the output is ER entity, which is a single product. It's of type TS structure, type structure of product, which means it's a single record which we will return from get entity, because, and that's also true because user is reading by key, by primary key. We got to return that single record out. So let's do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fire select query. I don't want to fire a select query, rather I will use BAPI. But I should know what is the key user passed. So you will get that in IT key tab. I'm going to read the IT key tab and find out what's the key user passed to me. So let's come down and I say read table, IT key tab into ls key. Let's do an inline data declaration. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the BAPI. But before that, let's declare a LV product for BAPI, product ID. That's a primary key. And let's call the function module BAPI EPM get detail to get a single product, and we're going to map this here, and this product ID is filled with the key property ls key hyphen value. So I got the product ID, I map it to this, and I've got one record from BAPI. So BAPI returns me finally one record, and this record I will capture it in a local work area. And now we're going to move this record from local work area to the BAPI output structure. ER entity. Out exporting record. You see ER means exporting record. A single record it is exporting. Save this up and let's activate. So now it should support getting single record data. Let's come back and press enter. Boom, there you go. You can see now system is getting you single record for that product. Enter any product ID on the top. 1000 I want to get. Enter. It has got the data for 1000. Can do in JSON also. That's your JSON data. Are you guys clear? How to get multiple records, implement $top, skip and filter, and how to get a single record based on primary key, which method to implement. Of course, there's more to it. We'll talk about exception handling, sub-RC status. We'll talk about association, getting the associated data, function import, image processing. There's a lot is pending. This is just the beginning, crude methods or how to implement create and other stuff. So this is just the beginning. Okay. I hope you enjoyed today's session. I'm going to put the entire code, source code of this TPC extension into a notepad file. So I go to source code based editor. You can see in the SE24, there's an option called source code based where we can go. And now I can go inside and now I can just copy everything and put it in a notepad file. Okay, guys. And this notepad file I'll upload today in the training blog. So those who have not having access to my server, you can also view the code what I have written and accordingly replicate in your system. Okay. I'm going to save this and create this. I'll upload this also after the class. Any questions before we close today's class? Anybody?
Go.
Yes, please.
Actually, I have one question. The Is it a case that I can able to pass the parameters only for which I can check the filterable option in SCGW?
Yes, ideally you should do that. So your code, okay, guys, your action and your talk should match, right? So if I go to my manager and I promise my manager, hey manager, I will complete this work, and then if I don't complete my work, my manager is going to blast on me. Similarly, your action and your talk should match. So when you're going to SEGW and marking here, what is that you're supporting? You have to support that. Okay, that's a good practice. It is not mandatory that everything matches. So you see here we mark category based on filterable true. I didn't mark other things. Still I can implement filter for other things. Does not matter.
Okay.
But what happens is this is the metadata. If you lie, if you lie in metadata, we don't know. Tomorrow there is a new UI technology which SAP may propose, which works on this metadata. And where SAP says this is something which is not supported because metadata does not support it. So be careful. What you are marking here is what you should must implement at least. More it's your choice. But it's not mandatory to match both of them. Code can be different. Code doesn't give you an error when you're implementing more filters in the code. It doesn't give you an error. But it's a good practice. Whatever you're marking here filterable, you must implement filter in your code to match what you're predicting, what you're showing to the caller. You are telling the caller via the metadata, hey, I am supporting category filter, and that is not supported, then it's a problem. The caller will come back to you as a bug. Caller will say, I saw the metadata, it says filterable true, why are you not supporting?
Okay. And another question: what is the difference between filter property and is key?
Filter is like search. It influences the where clause with a non-key column. Okay. Filter is like filter based on category. I want all the products which matches the category. The key property, however, is the primary key. There will always be one record which you will get. So here you see the key. When you pass this key, are you going to get multiple records? No. This is what the difference. Key is always there will be one record based on that key property. While for filter, it doesn't guarantee that you have one record. It's a non-key property which would end up giving you multiple record also. That's why implementation goes in the get entity set method. But for key, the implementation goes in the get entity method because we want to get always that primary key record.
Okay, so from your perspective, if I want to, I wants to get only a single record, so I can filter it out based on key. in case of multiple records, I can filter the record based on key as well as the filter too, right?
Absolutely. Let me show you that example. So if I just come back to the app once again, the app which I'm creating. So here, if I want to search something, maybe I'll just go to sapfurytrial.com. I think I don't have anything right now to show in there. I go to Fury app, and here, watch out what is happening. So in this one of the app I will open, let it open first. It's opening still. Just I will go to one of the application called invoices, let's say. Create customer invoice or look at all the invoices. So I go to an application and watch out here. What do you think is the key? Invoice number, right? This
Yes.
is the key. So I go on the top and I say, please get me invoice number 75. Press enter. You can see it filtered that single record. This is what is calling get entity method. And when you say get me everything, you see this master list is filled with everything. That is when it is calling get entity set. And now when you say filter only unpaid invoices, that's when again it's calling get entity set with filter value as unpaid. I hope you got
Okay.
now an idea.
Yes. Yeah. At the last question, can I able to create an entity set without key?
You can, but I don't see a meaning of that. It's meaningless. Tell me any object which just doesn't have a key. Any object which is stored in SAP tables which doesn't have a key, except customizing, because they are cross client. Some customizing, sorry, they are called configuration. Configurations are cross client. Customizings are also client dependent. So client becomes the key for customizing also. There is not a single business object which doesn't have a key. आप मुझे बताओ, मैं की बता दूंगा उसकी. You tell me the BO name, I will tell you the key. Material, material number. Sales order number. Accounting document number. Purchase
But
order number. Purchase
yeah,
requisition number. Invoice number.
see, this is a single table. If you are pulling a data from a single table, that's okay. But if you are pulling a data from a multiple tables, then I need to put the multiple keys in my entity set over there, right?
No, you have to create multiple entity sets. You have to break it down. If you have multiple table, each table maps to one entity. Like sales order items. So you there will be two entity set and they will be connected with association. भूल गए सर आप, आपने last session नहीं देखा वापस. Here is the last session where we discussed about association. You missed this part. You don't have a printout of this PPT, I guarantee you. You are not following sessions. For every table you have to create an entity and then connect them via association. We will see this
Okay,
example.
thank you.
We will see this association example in tomorrow's class. Yeah. Umair, Umair, do you have a question? Please unmute Umair.
Yes. Yeah, I have one question, sir. So just I created OData service, but that is not getting call on browser. So maybe that is that I just bought it to a server. Maybe that is not getting configured. So could you check once that one? Can you
I
share?
will. Okay.
Can you take my
Many doubts are coming regarding server. Many of you are emailing continuously. It will not help you and me both. This way we cannot support such a large number of user. There is a detailed document which is already shared with you guys. You have to follow through this document. Please try to understand. Individually it is very difficult. If we start supporting everyone, we have around 70 users which were sold this month. These 70 users, if we
Okay.
start supporting, we don't have that bandwidth to support. The cost will increase. Okay, please look
So
at this
just
document. Keep
one thing we need to that install the Eclipse on the ABAP
Eclipse
for
is
the
not
this
required. Eclipse is not required. The most important activity which is required is to update the host file in your Windows system and that host file and destination file link is already given somewhere. Come down, I'll just show you that. You must do that. You have to read through this document, guys. It is impossible for me to support everybody. Please download these two files attached. One of the host file. This is also an issue because if you're trying WebDintro, it will not work. You must update the host file and make sure this host file doesn't have any extensions at the end. Should replace the host file which you have in your system. You can see these two steps are mandatory for everybody. You have not done this, I can tell you. You have not done this, that's why you're see, I am also using same server, guys. How it is different that for me it behaves, it works, and for you it does not? Tell me. Impossible.
So,
Just your lack of
so we
confidence
can,
is allowing you to not allowing you to proceed.
So I
But
have a question, Anubhav.
hmm
So in the host file also you don't need an extension?
yes, host file also doesn't have an extension. Let me just
Okay,
show
let
you.
me do like that way.
Yes, yes. You have to download my file and put it as it is, sir. That's it.
No,
You don't
that
have
I
to
did,
do anything.
but no, but
This
I
is
didn't know about the host file. Host file
yes.
might have an extension, but I will check.
If you download my file does not have.
So,
If
but
it
I downloaded it from here.
then it does not have. It should work.
I'll try again. That's all I can say.
Please read this document, guys.
No,
Impossible for Anubhav to sit with all 40, 60 people. And guys, if others are able to do, only I get 2, 3 complaints. 2, 3 complaints. This user or this server is used by 60 users, guys. 60 SAP consultants across the globe, different locations, different devices, different operating systems, different browsers. सबके लिए चल रहा है, आपके लिए नहीं चल रहा, प्रॉब्लम आप में है. आपको देखना पड़ेगा, ये डॉक्यूमेंट रीड करना पड़ेगा. सर, मैं हेल्प नहीं कर पाऊंगा. इट इज इम्पॉसिबल. आई कैन हेल्प यू, बट थिंक अबाउट इट. व्हाट विल यू डू देन? You want me to
okay, I
spoon feed everything? How will you struggle and find out solution of your issues when you get into production? When you're working in company, do you have that problem solving ability? एटलीस्ट थोड़ा एफर्ट तो मारो सर, थोड़ा सा एफर्ट. इतनी सी हिम्मत चाहिए सर, चलेगा. I trust you. You got to trust yourself.
Yeah, Anubhav.
Yes, please.
ठीक है
Anubhav.
सर, ट्राई
Yeah,
करता
I
हूँ.
got the same experience in the past, but I followed your document. Just followed it resolved my issue.
Thank you
I'm
so much.
100% sure about that. The
Even I
last
am
two steps.
200% sure about it.
Oh yes,
I am
of course,
200
yeah.
because if there is an issue with server, I
Perfect.
immediately
The
get to know.
document is perfect.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience. This helps a lot. This gives more confidence to our fellow students, and I'm sure they will be able to resolve it. And guys,
Yeah,
I
thank you.
love you all. I love you all, but you guys have to work little hard. You guys have to have this problem solving ability. सब कुछ दे दिया है मैंने डॉक्यूमेंट में, कुछ भी नहीं छोड़ा है. उसके बाहर से कोई, there is no question outside that cheat paper. Still, if you are not reading cheat paper and going to the exam, what can I do? I can't help it. You have, अब बस एग्जाम मैं लिखूंगा ये बाकी रह गया है. I have to go on your behalf and write your exam. If you want me to do that, I am ready to do that also. Please tell me, if you want me to write your exam, I will do that. I have given you already the question paper, the answer sheet. If you are not reading and if you want me to go and write your exam, I am ready to do that also for you. But at least I beg you, give a try. This try will help you a lot in your company as well. Mhm. Cool. Any other question, please?
Number one quick question.
Yes, please.
Suppose we are having three key fields.
Okay.
So to select in the browser, we have to give the three fields
Very good.
to get entity.
Absolutely. Very good question. You have to give all those 3 keys. So usually what do we do is, if you have multiple keys, we specify them separated by comma. So first key, comma, second key, comma, third key. Like this we give. Yeah. Like this we have to give.
Suppose if I am skipping some of the key fields, then it will be a problem.
Obviously, because key is not just made of one property. What is the definition of primary key? Can a table have multiple primary keys?
No, data selection part is fine. Like any issue from front end actually.
No.
Means any
Primary key is always
exception.
one in a database table. It's a column or collection of column. So you have to pass your collection to get the record right out. Okay. Again, it depends on your backend code. You may have defined 3 keys, but actually physically you may have one key in the DB. Passing that one key is sufficient. Your logic has to handle that. Your logic has to handle that. It's nothing like magic, guys. Nothing like magic. You have to write the code. Suppose you have written passed in 3 keys, but you may be using only one property in the code, which is retrieving the record. It will work.
Yeah, that is one interview question, Anubhav, actually.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it all
Thank you.
depends on your backend code. You may pass 100 properties from UI, but what is that you using in your code? Your code decides that. This code decides everything. This is the heart of the system. This is what Evapor does. The code decides it. Mhm. Any other questions? Anyone? Cool then. That's it for the day. See you tomorrow, Monday morning. Have a nice day. Good.